Lucy's hanging out. She's my Velcro dog. Now she's gonna lay down and go to sleep. It has been raining cats and dogs for a few days now, and I just planted 2 zucchini and 3 cucumber plants before the rain started. I think they might be out there drowning. We'll have to see. By the title of this video, you might think I'm in a cranky mood, and actually not at all. I'm really very mildly, I think, very amused right now because I'm noticing a change around me. And as I go through and talk about what I'm going to talk about today, you might be going, yeah, I'm seeing it too. I'm seeing the same thing. So the title of this video is No. And the reason is in my opinion, we don't say no enough. We don't say no enough. And I'm going to go through the things that I've said no to. And then towards the end of the video, I'm going to tell you why I don't think we say no enough. And if you stick around, I'll bet you that you'll be going, oh yeah, I see that. So there might be some aha moments here in this video. When I talk about saying no, we don't have to be mean about it. You know, there's lots of ways to say no, like, yeah, I don't think so, or I'm not going to do that, or, you know, that just doesn't work for me, or gosh, not today, that's not my choice. There's lots of ways to say no, and sometimes saying no is a very personal and private thing. It's just a choice you make about what you're willing to do and not do. And one thing I want to say at the beginning here is if you don't agree with me, I'm absolutely fine with that. As a matter of fact, I respect someone's opinion if it's different than mine, because that at least tells me they're thinking. And I think that a lot of us are not thinking enough these days. So thinking is good. And thinking to a point where you have decided what works for you and what doesn't work for you, I think that's a really, really good thing. So I'm going to talk about first the things that I have said no to. And they're almost internal decisions. It didn't involve anyone else. It was just a choice that I made. And a lot of these choices I made a while ago. So the first thing that I said no to, and oh my gosh, you guys, I think it's been 20 or 25 years, probably closer to 25 years or more. And that is that I don't read the newspaper at all, ever. The only newspaper I may pick up is one of those little entertainment newspapers when I'm traveling to a different town and I kind of want to see what's going on in town. I quit reading the newspaper, and I can still remember the morning I made that decision. It was back when the girls were little. Heather was about, oh gosh, 12, and that would have put Grace about 7 years old. And I was single at the time. I'd gotten a divorce. And my routine then was to get up early in the morning, like I do now, and I would pour my coffee, and I would sit down at the counter, and I would read the newspaper. Now, the girls would still be in bed. This was early, so it was my quiet time. And I would open up that newspaper, and I would read everything from front to back, except the sports section. That just never interested me. And when I say I would read everything, I would look at all the different articles and all the different reports. Not that I would necessarily read all the report or all the article, but I would definitely peruse the headlines. I'd look at all the ads. I'd look at the entertainment section. I would do the whole thing front to back. And if you asked my daughter today, she might remember, you know, the few times that maybe she was up, that I would go through the whole paper. This one morning, I was going through the paper and I was noticing all of a sudden a shift in my reaction to what the reporting was. And all of a sudden, I just had this feeling like, this is not working for me. I don't think this is good for me. And I'm not sure if I was doubting the validity of what was written up in the paper, or if I was noticing a slant, or if I felt like I just don't know if this is really the truth, but something all of a sudden hit me. And I can still remember in my head thinking, this is not good for me. This is not a good choice. And I closed that paper and I put it aside and I canceled my subscription, and I've never read the paper since. So I can still remember that one time, and I don't know really what it was that made me decide this is not the kind of information or the kind of content that I want in my head. But I can tell you, I am so glad I made that decision, because it really improved my thinking skills over the past few decades. This little piece of paper has a lot of names. You can call it a buck, you can call it a fern, which is slang for Federal Reserve note. That's what all the trader bros call it. What it is fiat currency. It's a debt-based currency system. Now here's something interesting. The average life of a debt-based currency system is about 90 years because it just flames out over time due to inflation and monetary policies. This Federal Reserve note right here, this system is 112 years old. So we're about 22 years past the sell-by date. So what do you do when 90% of the fiat currencies in the history of the world, it's probably a higher number than that, fail? One good solution is to have real assets. And today I'm talking about precious metals, silver, and gold. In my humble opinion, and this is not financial advice, everyone should have a portion of their portfolio in precious metals. Whether you choose gold, whether you choose silver, it's a smart move to protect your assets. And if you look around, it's seeming like we're in pretty uncertain economic times right now. My choice for precious metals is Miles Franklin, and I've been working with them for years. The wonderful thing about Miles Franklin is they are owner-operated. Andy Scheckman is at the helm over at Miles Franklin. He is fantastic. You can find him right here on YouTube at Miles Franklin, and I'll have their channel listed down below. There is no minimum order. They're super helpful. They're family friendly. They'll either arrange storage for you, or you can have your purchase shipped right to you. If you are interested in protecting your assets and creating a balanced portfolio that includes precious metals, I can highly recommend Miles Franklin. And as for Richard, he's the best. I'll have all the details listed down below. Protect your portfolio today with precious metals. So the second thing that I don't do ever is watch TV. And those of you who watch TV and have a TV in your house and it's a general part of your entertainment, you might find that really wild. I have not watched TV, gosh, well, I think not watched TV, like having it in my house, it's been 20 years. I think for 5 or 6 years before that, I really wasn't watching TV except to sit down with the girls and watch a show. For instance, Grace was a dancer and she used to love that show, So You Think You Can Dance. And I loved it too. I loved seeing the choreography and the dancers and the whole thing. So we would sit down and watch a show like that. But my TV watching 25 years ago got less and less and less and less. And to this point, I haven't owned a TV in a long, long time. I can still remember the last time I had a TV. And, you know, when we were kids, you guys remember this, you turned on the TV with a knob and there were like 3 or 4 channels, you know, ABC, CBS, NBC, and then PBS came along a while into our childhood. With this TV I had in this place, and I was living there by myself, the girls had flown the coop, they, you know, the nerve of them to move out. I still can't believe it. This TV, you needed 2 clickers to get it to work, and I didn't even know how to do it. So I had this big TV in my place, and I had no idea really to turn it on. And I think once or twice Heather came over and I said, can you show me how to do this? And she'd, whip it out really quick without even thinking, and I would still be confused. So I never watch TV. I don't own a TV. I haven't owned a TV in a long, long time. But what I can tell you, and for those of you who are regular TV watchers, this is going to be hard for you to imagine or to understand, but it's the truth. Honestly, it's the truth. And for those of you who don't watch TV, make sure you put it in the comments down below if you feel the same way. Anytime that I'm somewhere where there's a TV on, like if I go to someone's house and they have the television on, or I'm in a restaurant and they have the television on, I am actually horrified at the condescending way the information comes across on that television. I mean, the commercials are embarrassingly childish, and they talk down to you, and they're ridiculous. And the shows, it's actually shocking to me whenever I see some TV. And it's the lack of intelligence, it's the lack of an educated point of view or a mature point of view. It is really, really so striking. And I think it's that way because I haven't watched TV in so long. Just the level of communication, it's almost childlike, or how a parent would sort of talk down to a child. And if you love TV, please don't take this personally. Anybody can love what they want. In my world, you get to have your opinion. But for someone who hasn't watched TV in a long, long time, that's what comes across. And when I see TV now, it is so uncomfortable for me. And I am so glad that I don't watch it at all. Now, I do watch YouTube. And I'll tell you what I watch on YouTube, because there's lots and lots of choices. I watch channels like some guy with a camera or a phone and a microphone is in his backyard showing me how to make biochar, fermented biochar for the garden. Stuff like that. I want one person with, not fancy equipment to just tell me what it is they're doing. And I learned so much from YouTube. Honestly, you can find out anything on YouTube. I don't go for these big production channels where I know there's a whole team in the background and it's fancy lighting and this and that. Why? For the same reason I don't watch TV. Because I'm worried about the slant of that information. Who's behind it? Who's pulling the strings? Who's paying the money? Whose point of view are we seeing? What are we trying to be sold? What are we trying to be manipulated into thinking? I just don't want to go down that road. I want to get my information in a way that I feel like is fair and unbiased and just the facts, ma'am. That's my choice. Now, do I watch some people who have opinions? Yeah, from time to time, but I'll tell you, and this is quite common for me, I will watch someone who has one opinion on one side of the issue, and I will watch someone that has an opinion on the other side of the issue, because I want to see what both sides are saying. And how do I feel about that information, and where does it land for me? So TV is not a part of my world. I am so grateful for it. I think it's just, in my opinion, please don't take this personally if you watch TV a lot, but I just think it's a time waster. It's a time waster. I mean, there's so many other cool things to learn and do and that sort of thing. Just my opinion. We can still be friends if you feel differently. Okay, this one is going to drive some of you absolutely crazy. It is. I know that. Going out of it. I don't listen to music. I don't have Spotify on my phone. I don't have any music devices in my house. When I'm home, I'm listening to quiet. I'm listening to the birds outside. Right now I'm listening to the rain because it's so cozy in here. I don't listen to music. Why? Because I'm not a fan of the music that's out today. When you compare what's out today with the music we grew up with, it's night and day, particularly the messaging. Now, do I enjoy music from, our era of when we were 13, 14, 15, on the way up to 2025? Yeah, I do. I really do. And it's fun for me if I go out somewhere and there's a band playing, music from our era, like this late 60s and 70s, maybe even the 80s a little bit. I love it. But I have gotten so used to quiet in my house that I love it. It's peaceful, it's pleasant, it's just so very soothing. Do I think I'll be listening to music in the future? I don't know. Because the funny thing is that I think it would be almost sort of annoying and maybe distracting because I've gotten used to quiet and I find quiet really, really peaceful. I don't listen to music in my car either. And I know that's going to make some of you crazy, but I drive in quiet. Mostly I'm in quiet is what I'm doing. Now I will watch something on YouTube, generally gardening or home renovation or things like that in the evenings. But as far as having noise in my house all the time, I just don't. It's quiet and peaceful here and I love it that way. The next thing that I never do is use the microwave. And you're probably thinking, how do you cook without a microwave? Easily. I haven't used a microwave in, oh my gosh, you guys, I can't even remember how long. Maybe 18 or 20 years or something. It's been a long, long time. And even back then, it was mostly pretty much to heat up my coffee. But now I have those little coffee, I have one of those little coffee warmers that I leave my coffee cup on. I never, ever use a microwave. As a matter of fact, in this place now, if you open my microwave, you'd see all my spices in there because that's where I keep my spices because it's right above the area of the counter, the little 2-foot area, maybe 18 inches area where I do my prep work. So the spices are right there in the microwave. I don't ever use a microwave. I stopped using it and then I learned that microwaving your food pretty much destroys all the nutrients in it. So that food that you just lovingly prepared, if you put it in the microwave to heat it back up, you're just nuking all the nutrients in it. It really kills the benefits of all the vitamins and minerals in your food. It does heat it up, but then I wonder, what are those little molecules that are snapping and popping going to be doing in my body? Snapping and popping. I don't know. It just doesn't feel good to me. So living without a microwave, super, super easy. The only time that I've used this microwave for its microwave function is I have one of those little beanbag heating pads. I heated my beanbag heating pad up in there, I think a couple of times when I was putting it on my knee. That's it. So I don't ever use a microwave. And here's the last thing I'm going to share that I don't do. And the list is much, much longer than this, but these are the ones that are going to ruffle the fewest feathers, I think. The last thing I don't do is I don't eat fast food. I don't eat fast food. I don't drink soda. I don't drink those sugary coffee drinks. I don't do any of that stuff. If I go out to eat, I'm going to do my best to choose a locally owned restaurant that cooks from scratch. Hopefully I'm not going to see Cisco in the back of the restaurant unloading a bunch of, I don't know, preserved food. I eat at locally owned places that I feel pretty good about what the ingredients are. Because I'm living in Northern California now, and this is kind of hippieville, there are a lot of local choices of people who are using locally raised beef and organic produce. I am in hippieville. It's older hippieville, but the food choices are good. But you will never see me in line at a Taco Bell or a Burger King or a McDonald's. Oh my word, no. And I'm not stopping into the local mini mart to buy a Diet Coke. I actually drink pretty much 3 things. I drink coffee in the morning. I drink an electrolyte drink first thing after my coffee, and then I drink water, and that's it. Every now and again, I will make a cup of tea. I'm not a real big tea drinker, but maybe 5 or 6 times a year, I'll have a cup of tea, and that's it. That's all I do. So those are the lists of the things that I have said no to. And why am I talking about no today? Well, here's my reasoning and here's my thoughts about it. And what I'd like for you to do is think about the points I'm going to make and put your thoughts down in the comment section below, because I want to know if you're thinking the same way, or if maybe that has spurred you on to think about a particular point more, or if you really, really disagree with me, tell me that. Again, I love people who disagree with me because it makes me think, and it also lets me know that you're thinking. So we can still be friends. Why do I want to talk about the word no? I don't think we say no enough. I really don't. And I think the reason that we as a society, and I'm talking about people all around the planet, not just in the US, I'm talking Canada and Great Britain and England and Australia and New Zealand and France and Netherlands and everywhere around the planet. I don't think we say no enough because we have not been raised to honor how we're feeling. What we've been raised to do is to follow the rules. Now, who made the rules? Not us. So it's follow the rules, do as you're told, get in line, don't buck the system, this is the way we do it, be part of the crowd. We have been told from the time we were little that what we felt in our hearts, what we felt was right, what worked for us, really didn't matter. What mattered were the rules, or the way we've always done it. And imagine how different we would be as people, as grown-ups, as teens, as early teens, as young people, if the message, instead of follow the rules and do as you're told, was, well, how do you feel about it? What's your choice? What works for you? What's in your heart? What would you like to do? How different does that feel? One feels kind of constrictive, and one feels kind of nurturing and encouraging. Imagine if in school the teacher said to you, instead of get in line, do your work, sit still, listen, da 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 da, what if the teacher said to you, what sounds interesting to you today? What would you like to work on? What are you curious about? What sounds fun to you? What an amazing difference that would have been. And I think, at least for me, and maybe for you too, what started happening to me 25, 30 years ago is I started recognizing that what felt good to me in my heart was very different than the messaging I was getting out in the world. And a lot of times that messaging out in the world felt horrible to my heart. It felt controlling, it felt restrictive, it felt confining, it just felt off. And what I wanted to feel was comfort and a sense of centeredness and a belonging to myself inside of myself. And I think it kicked off about 25, 30 years ago when I recognized that the information I was signing up for by sitting there reading that newspaper really felt off to me. Now, it could have been propaganda. It could have been the truth. It could have been someone's perspective. It could have been an outright lie. I don't really know. But what I do know is all of a sudden what I had done for decades was no longer working for me. And thankfully, and I'm very thankful for that, I had enough of an awareness to recognize that off feeling within myself and to decide I don't want to read the newspaper anymore. And I think that one decision just kept snowballing to the point now where I know, I recognize very clearly that I live my life much differently than a lot of people. But you know what? It works for me. It really works for me. And I usually feel very, very centered and very, very true to myself. Now, does that mean the world is always comfortable and peaceful? No. Hello. This is Earth, planet chaos. This place is nuts, continually nuts. What I have learned to do over the course of my lifetime, and maybe you have as well, is I have learned to hang on to principles, not people. I now look at a situation and I think, is that in line with my principles? I'm team humanity. I believe in kindness. I believe in doing what's in your heart. I believe in following your own light. I believe in creativity. I believe in a clean planet. There's lots and lots of things that I believe in, and I'm sure you do too. I've just really learned that if I stay centered in those beliefs, that things really do work out a lot better for me, and I feel a lot happier and more peaceful along the way. So getting back to the no, I think that maybe we all need to learn to say no a little bit more. And it doesn't have to be just a flat out no. It can be a, yeah, I'm not going to do that. No, it doesn't work for me. That's a choice, not one I'm going to make, but thank you for the offer. There's lots of ways to say no, to keep standing in what feels right for you and not create a battle or create a problem or create a fight. So let's all say it together. It's our new favorite word, no. One more time, no. And there's always that, yeah, I don't think so. That doesn't work for me. Thank you for the choice, but I'm going to go in a different direction. There's lots of wonderful ways to stay true to ourselves and still walk a peaceful path on the planet. So that's my big no discussion today. And what I'm really curious about is, how are you around the word no? Do you have a hard time with it? Do you feel guilty when you say no? Do you feel uncomfortable when you say no? Or are you one of those gals that, hey, if I don't want to do it, I'm not doing it? I want to hear from you about how it works for you. And I do want all of us, hopefully, to think about our choices. And if something's coming down the pike and it really feels off, are we ready to stand in what feels right for us and say no? Well, that's what I have for you today. It was an inside day today because it's raining cats and dogs out there. And Lucy is sound asleep, conked out on the couch right here. Thanks so much for joining me. It always makes my day when you take a few minutes out of your day to spend it with me. I appreciate that, and I appreciate you. I'm Kimberly. This is Pretty Over 50, where we talk everything beauty, fitness, and lifestyle for the over 50 and over 60 woman. Make it a great day, and I'll see you next Sunday. Bye now.